Hello everybody and welcome back to Odin's movie blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well. Today we're talking about the Mary Sue once again because this site, I'm sorry, but if we want to talk about clear signs of racism and sexism, you need to look no further than the Mary Sue. Almost every single one of its articles is filled with talks of race and gender, and yet so many people would defend this site and say, "Oh no, this is a great place. You just don't like it because it's because you're a white man, and so you can't appreciate it." Well, no, I just don't like racism and sexism, especially when it's done very blatantly. I mean, just look at this title: Doctor Who decided to torment us with big spiders and white men. Could you imagine if I or anyone else had made an article that says Doctor Who decides to torment us with black women? I would imagine that there would probably be quite an uproar over it, and probably calls for me to get fired, probably calls for my content to be taken down, and you know what, maybe there would be right to do that. You know, obviously there's that, you know, whole question about freedom of speech, even though, you know, places like the Mary Sue don't welcome freedom of speech because they say, "Oh, well, we'll delete your comment if you question our thoughts, if you invade our safe space, you know, oh, we'll block you." You know, because that's pretty much what we have now. These SJW NPCs just can't actually engage with dialogue themselves, and then they love to continue to write garbage tier articles like this, where they're going to demonize white men. Not just are they demonizing white people, they're also demonizing the entire male gender. And yes, that's right, I said male gender. Are you triggered? Are you triggered by that? Oh, there's only two genders. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, I can't say that in today's world, right? Oh no, YouTube's gonna demonetize me because I stated a scientific fact that there's only two genders. Oh my god. Oh boy, but anyway, let's just dive right into this. Oh, and here's another one. Jewish leaders tell Trump he's not welcome in Pittsburgh until he denounces white supremacy. He's denounced white supremacy. Not always perfectly, but he has. And also, these Jewish leaders are a super PAC run by George Soros' son. So yeah, let's just ignore the facts though. Let's just ignore all the facts about the situation, because that's what the news, even CNN, the Washington Post, these mainstream legitimate news sources are saying the same thing and have the same exact headline. So if you want to talk about news bias, if you want to talk about corruption in the media, look no further than what's going on in all media spaces, including that of the Mary Sue. And then of course, don't dress up as a Nazi for Halloween or for Comic-Con. Well, okay then. Let's get into this garbage tier article. Oh boy. And how do I know it's garbage tier? Well, because, you know, I have eyes. Doctor Who decided to torment us with big spiders and white men. But I love the idea of giant spiders. Oh, the white men, no! White men are evil. White men are evil. I hate white men. Again, imagine me saying that about another gender, or another race, or both together. And guess the kind of reaction that I would get. I would be driven out of town on a rail. I would be called a racist up and down. But when people talk about white men in this way, "Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. Oh, you've been kept down for so long. Oh, this is your white privilege. Oh, this is your white male privilege." That's like what I hear every single time I hear all that nonsense. Because that's what it is. It's pure and utter nonsense, and it's something that's being perpetuated in our colleges to this day, and it's making our kids so much more stupid and ignorant of the real world. And that is the reason why we are currently in the situation that we are in, where people are willing to do violence, where people are willing to literally fall away from society, go into actual what are called safe spaces, a safe tent. You see this sometimes happen on college campuses. People who are able to claim PTSD because of an election. That is because of where we are now, and it's all thanks to not only, of course, parents, but mostly because of all of the nonsense going on in higher education these days. Higher education, as it is now called, because it really is. Is it really much of an education? If you get a degree in gender studies, or queer theory, or any of the other myriad of silly, nonsensical majors that are a total waste of government money and also a total waste of your own private money. Again, you can pursue whatever degree you want, but if any of that comes from government aid, or any of that comes from, you know, if you are someone who receives government assistance, if you are someone that receives student loans, and let's say you get a very good rate, or let's say you don't have to pay back, because that's what they want now. Oh no, you should be able to go to college for free. Yeah, so I can pursue my degree in women's studies and do nothing with my life except become a professor or an activist, because that's all that there is. It's a sad fact that that's all that there is. But anyway, let's talk about the evilness of white men. Yeah! This week's episode of Doctor Who had a great message against elitist male politicians who try and run America. What? The problem is that the episode also featured spiders that were dead and became reanimated because of toxic waste. So basically zombie spiders that were abnormally large. Welcome to the aptly titled Arachnids in the UK, no doubt named for its guest stars. The episode centered around Yaz wanting to go home to her family and the Doctor coming to terms with her new friends going back to their lives. When they were meant to say goodbye, Yaz invites everyone up for tea so that the Doctor doesn't have to go alone. There, though, of course, they find out that one of Yaz's neighbors was murdered by a giant spider, you know, as is normal in society. By investigating the spiders and where they eventually end up, the Doctor meets up with Yaz and her mother at a hotel that is being built by Jack Robertson. I guess, spoiler alert, I guess if anyone still watches, I'm done with Doctor Who. I'm just done because now it's gone full on. If the Mary Sue is writing an article about an episode saying, oh, they did a great thing for race relations, then I know that the show has truly jumped the shark. And I mean, it was going downhill already, but now for sure it's just, oh, identity politics. Let's just play that game nonstop. I'm done. I'm just done with the show. But anyway, spoiler warning, if you are at all worried or concerned about the current state of Doctor Who, which again at this point I don't know why you would be, because this all sounds stupid. Oh my goodness. Yaz and her mother at a hotel that is being built by Jack Robertson. Robertson, who is a hotel tycoon who is running for president, who is essentially Donald Trump but hates Donald Trump, fires Yaz's mom, Najia, because he thinks there is something wrong with his new hotel. When the Doctor shows up, everyone else seems to know who Jack Robertson is except for the Doctor. Jack, being the egomaniac that he is, can't believe that the Doctor doesn't know who he is. Are you Ed Sheeran, she asks, and it's clear that Jack gets angry about it. Still, he demands to know why everyone is listening to the Doctor, clearly hating that she is a woman in charge. When Jack sees that everyone accepts whatever the Doctor says, he asks who is in charge, and Ryan, Graham, and Yaz all say the Doctor, who says... Jack mutters, and without pause, everyone tells them the Doctor is in charge, furthering the idea that Jack is that dude. As if the episode wasn't bad enough, with a terrible white dude and giant spiders, there ends up being a spider that is about the size of a small elephant. Again, this episode had a great underlying message about who we, especially us Americans, put in leadership positions. Still, though, they were giant spiders. So the problem that this person has is with the fact that this episode has giant spiders in it, not with the underlying racism and sexism, though I'm assuming that they love that, seeing that it hates white men. It says, oh, evil white men. No, not the white men. They torment us with white men. No. But no, we love the underlying message. The underlying message is good. Again, female empowerment. Men, because men just can't stand women being in charge. It's because of white male privilege. I'm sorry, that whole concept is lunacy. That whole concept is stupidity. Oh no, you can't say that. You can't say that. You're just saying that because you're a white man. You just don't know. No, it's because I'm a person and I'm living in the here and now and I have a brain and eyes, and guess what? I can think for myself and I don't need someone else to put thoughts in my head, and I don't need to run away to a safe space because I can get engaged in conversation. I can engage in dialogue because I'm a person. I'm a human being. And you are too. The problem is that you decide to give up your own free will and accept anything that is fed to you by your college professor. Anything that's been fed to you in college and in life and in your small tight-knit groups, that's all you care about. But once again, if you're going to demonize an entire race and an entire gender, which is what you're doing when you say, torment us with white men, which is the very definition of a racial or sexual questioning. I guess you could say a racist or sexist kid. Even then, I'm not going to go down the same road that a lot of other people would get. If this article had said, you know, Doctor Who decides to torment us with big spiders and black men, or black women, or Asian men, or Asian women, or any other race combination, race-gender combination, people would call that as being racist. And I would say, you know what? I think it's definitely racially insensitive. I think you could make that argument, but is it really racist? Is it really sexist to say those things? Aren't these terms that are meant to be, you are demeaning and thinking down on somebody because of their race and gender? And even that, wouldn't that just be intolerance? I think that we need to be very careful with our terms, because being intolerant, which is what I would say this article is, this is a very racially and sexually intolerant article, because it is essentially trying to put down not only men, but also white men on top of that. So I think it's definitely racially insensitive. I think that's definitely sexually, it sexually puts down people as well. But when I think about actual racism, when I think about actual sexism, I think of people who honestly, in their heart of hearts, believes that someone is inferior to them because of their race and gender. And there are people out there that do believe these things. That to me is true racism and true sexism. When you accept that as your own reality. If you accept that as your own truth, as your own fact, that someone is lesser than you because of their race or gender, that is racism and sexism to the definition of it, and that is wrong, obviously. But I think that being racially insensitive is also problematic as well. I think that being intolerant can also be problematic as well. But that is where I would put this article. But guys, what are your thoughts on this? Like, are you just so tired? Like, seriously, the Mary Sue is just absolutely ridiculous. And obviously, Doctor Who's gone off the deep end. Do you even still watch Doctor Who? Doctor Who was actually very good for a very long time. I actually really like Peter Capaldi's portrayal of the Doctor. I know that not everyone was crazy about it, but I thought it was fun. I thought it was a very interesting take on it. And then as soon as they announced this, I thought to myself, oh God, you know that they're going to make this political. And sure enough, it looks like they have, seeing that they have a Trump character who, as the article says, hates Trump. Meaning that they're talking about Donald Trump in this episode. They're talking about Donald Trump in this series. And it's just all now political nonsense. And it's so sad that we can't have any good TV shows on a regular basis that are just good for the sake of being good, that can't dive into politics. So guys, I would love to hear your thoughts about that. And also, I'd love to hear your thoughts about any other things that the Mary Sue has put out there. Like, for example, this lie. This is a blatant lie. Jewish leaders, no. A George Soros, or rather, son of George Soros, funded super PAC. That is all about, if you actually read the fine print, is all about trying to take down Donald Trump, has said that he is not welcome in Pittsburgh. For a fact, let's just say, it wasn't a group of rabbis that came together and said this. No, that's not who we're talking about here. White men are evil. And also, guys, don't forget, don't dress up like a Nazi for Halloween or at Comic-Con. Yeah, if you like Red Skull, don't dress up like a Red Skull, because that's offensive. Everything is offensive now. Every single thing is offensive. Just because I said that's offensive, oh my God, that's offensive to me. Every little thing now is so offensive to so many people, and it's sad. It is a sad state that we live in. But guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. You are all amazing, beautiful people. Have a great day, and as always, God bless.